guys. Black Scout Survival Late Night Live. Thanks for tuning in. A lot of stuff's going on. A lot of stuff's going on around the globe that could have some very serious consequences, to say the least. Anyway, let's start off with this one story that happened. A staff sergeant from the U.S. Army named Gordon Black has been detained in Russia after being accused of stealing, of all things. Now, he was stationed in South Korea and took leave to go to Russia to visit a woman he had gotten romantically involved with. He supposedly finished up his tour in South Korea and was expected to move to Fort Cavazos in the near future. Now, they said that he did not go AWOL, okay, that he was indeed on leave. He had submitted leave. Now, the thing was, he did not tell his unit commanders where he was going. He did not request that. And I'm going to talk more about that in a moment. So he was arrested on May 2nd and in a city close to the Chinese and North Korean border. He was accused of stealing by a woman, but they're not sure if this woman that's accused him of stealing is the one that he went to visit. He is currently in custody. So a few things. When you go to Russia, right, you have to get a visa. So you have to fill out an extensive form when you go there. Now, this form asks you lots of questions about yourself, background information, if you've been in the military, what type of military training is it that you've had. And so you have to have done that, or if not, you'll get picked up on arrival. Okay, so if he did not fill out this visa and was trying to get in there, he would obviously be picked up anyway on arrival. Okay. The other thing is that if you filled out the form, they're going to be following you. They're going to have operatives following you around as an American and, watching every move you make. If you lie on the form, you're going to get picked up as well, probably be charged for espionage. Now, how do I know this? Because I was supposed to be going to Russia years ago and for business, and I had to fill out some paperwork. And this paperwork asked me lots of stuff about my military career, training, things like that, what countries I've been to, and so on and so forth. So the thing is that when I submitted my visa, you have to give the dates that you're scheduled to go, that you're going to be there. You have to mail them your real passport, right? And the thing is I didn't get my documents back, my visa or my passport back until after the trip was over. So I was never allowed to go into the country. They would not allow me to go. I got my visa after the fact. It did me no good for the dates that I was supposed to go. So I got the stuff back from the Russian consulate after, right? So they didn't even want me there. Obviously, Americans aren't supposed to travel there right now anyway. And the fact of the matter is that his command, he didn't tell them that he was going there. There's speculation because there's not a lot about it. He could have got catfished there by an operative and got tricked into going there to be used as bait. Who knows? I'm going to show a short news clip real quick about this.
This soldier, and why is he being detained?
We don't know a whole lot. So we know that he is accused, as you said, Anna, of stealing. But what we don't know is if those are actual charges based off something that he did, or if he was detained for, frankly, no other reason than he was an American and a soldier who happened to be in Russia. Now, he traveled to Russia from Korea, where he was stationed. He's an enlisted soldier in the U.S. Army, and he traveled there on his own. He was not on any kind of an official travel, but he was there on his own. We are also now told, according to officials familiar with this case, that he went there of his own without notifying his superiors of this travel. So, again, he has been detained. We don't know where he's being held. We're still trying to figure a lot of these details out, but of course, we have watched as Americans have been detained in Russia for the last several years. There are several who are still being held now. So the officials we're speaking to about this are very concerned about his safety, and they continue to warn.
So, yeah, I mean, regardless, we have a serviceman being, detained in Russia, not good for what's going on with the political climate, geopolitical climate. Now, going along with that, there's been a lot of talk about this, and the thing is that they're denying these reports. They're stating it's happening. They're denying it. Russia's threatening. I'm going to go through all of it, but France sends combat troops to Ukraine. Russian report. Will the deployment of French Foreign Legion unit commanded by French officers trigger a wider European war? So this article here is from overseas, so not an American news source, which you can't trust American news sources. It talks about that France has sent its first troops officially to Ukraine. The soldiers are drawn from the French 3rd Infantry Regiment, which is one of the main elements of the French Foreign Legion. And it deployed in support of the Ukrainian 54th Independent Mechanized Brigade. And so Top War, which is another Russian site, notes that there's slightly a different version which unit number the Ukrainian brigade receiving the reinforcements are. It's not the 54th, but the 7th. Now, it says that we can neither confirm or deny this information, so everything is at your discretion. At the same time, if there's smoke, there's fire, right? And I always say that. Now, in 2022, France had a number of Ukrainians and Russians in the French Foreign Legion, because if you don't know, the French Foreign Legion is made up of people outside of France. You go there, they take your passport or whatever, they give you a new name, and basically you have to serve a 5-year contract. So they take people from all over the world, Foreign Legion, hence the name. So apparently these guys in 2022 were allowed to leave the Legion in the case if they were Ukrainians, return to Ukraine and join the Ukrainian forces. Now, it isn't clear if Russians return home. There's lots of Russians within the French Foreign Legion as well. I contacted Jimmy Watson's buddy, a guy named Tyler Kavanaugh. He was a Navy SEAL, and he went on to join the French Foreign Legion. And I was trying to get him on the show, but he's busy today. But he said that from what he understands, there are French Foreign Legion troops on the ground there, and they're planned to be more sent there. Okay. And I asked him, was he 100% sure? He said he's not 100%, but he can make a few calls to verify. But he has heard that people that he knows, I guess, are going there. So this is coming from someone who served in the French Foreign Legion. Now, you see this right here from May 6th, 1,500 French, this is today, 1,500 French Foreign Legion expected on Ukrainian front lines. So this is another, all these different news sources. Now, you see here, France denies having sent troops to Ukraine, obviously, because this will start a freaking World War III, okay? France formally disputed the deployment of French Foreign Legion's first 100 military personnel in Ukrainian city. So they're going back and forth. Now, for months, though, the French president, Macron, has been threatening to send French troops to Ukraine. He has found almost no support from NATO countries other than Poland and the Baltic states. But he is trying to stir it up, right? Now, why would they send the French Foreign Legion? Well, the French Foreign Legion, again, aren't citizens. So you're not going to get much opposition from the French because they're not sending their own citizens to go fight in this war. So that's why they would send French Foreign Legion troops, okay? Now, Russia rattles nukes as French President Mole sending troops to Kiev. Okay, this is also from today. So all these things are popping off today. And again, where I say there's smoke, there's fire, guys. Every time we see something like this, it comes out to be true, especially when you're looking at global news. When you're looking at American news, you're not going to hear this stuff. You're going to hear propaganda. That's why I always go look for foreign sources, because especially our opposition. All of these websites are our opposition. Now, could it be propaganda? Possibly. Highly doubtful, though. So Russia, Vladimir Putin, they're planning to exercise in preparation of non-strategic nuclear weapons. Non-strategic, referred to as tactical nuclear weapons, can be used on the battlefield and carry less power than strategic nuclear weapons, which can destroy entire cities. So Russia's foreign ministry said the upcoming exercises were due to belligerent statements by some Western officials because of NATO's destabilizing actions. The Russian foreign ministry further accused the West of deliberately leading the situation towards a further escalation of the Ukrainian crisis towards an open military clash between NATO countries and Russia. They added, "We hope that this event will cool down the hot heads in the Western capitals." So obviously they're trying to use this as a way to strike fear into the rest of the world. That's the only reason why they do these exercises. That's the reason why America does these type of exercises as well. They want to scare someone, scare the opposition into doing anything else. I don't think Russia wants escalation. I don't think that at all. I don't see them in any capacity wanting any form of escalation, although I see Western countries definitely wanting escalation. They're trying to do everything they can. Now, we'll see as far as his staff sergeant, how will this come into play, because they could potentially use this, the military industrial complex could use this to go in full-blown combat mode. Who knows? A lot of people I see every day in the comments say, man, what can we do? What can we do to take back the country? Dude, this stuff is so global and it's been going on for 40 years that you should have been prepping 40 years ago, trying to take it back. The thing is a lot of conservatives right now, I see more than ever, fight each other unbelievably. It's crazy. Like, to even say you're part of that, to even want to say that I'm part of the conservatives group anymore is just absolutely crazy. It's just like Christians are so boldly attacking one another as well. And you're reading from the same book and you can't get along. It's crazy, man. That's why I say I'm a Christian constitutionalist, because conservatives do nothing more than to bicker, bicker and fight. I'm more a patriot than you. And it's constant, dude. It's constant. And then you have the rhinos in office. So what can you do? What should you be doing? What can you control? If you look at Stoicism, for example, Stoicism talks about things that you can control. What can I control? I can be prepared. I can be physically fit. Make sure I have food, water, self-defense, all those things covered, right? These are things that I can control myself. When you look at the world and how things are happening, we keep seeing George Soros funding all kinds of essentially guerrilla operations against the United States. That's what he's doing. It's just like how he funds all these small city DAs and stuff like that to make them easier on crime, start punishing honest Americans, because this flips us into what I always talk about. You're going to memorize this before it's all said and done, anarcho-tyranny, because they want the ruling class to go against opposition, create more crime. It's this destabilization technique, and it's being utilized right and left here. The same guys that were arrested at these college campuses were the same ones that were dressed up as Antifa back in 2020. This is happening over and over again. It's a playbook. It's a way to destabilize the country. Just like mass immigration used to destabilize the country. So what can you do? What can you do when you have the majority of Americans fighting one another, right? Whenever you look at the leftists, they don't do that because they're very coordinated in their efforts. They're very coordinated. But conservatives, especially, man, it's crazy the amount of men I've seen become very bitter, envious. I mean, it's just wild. It's wild. Like, go do some push-ups, dude. Get some masculinity about yourself. It's crazy. But the thing is, what can you control? What you can control is your preparations and what's in front of you every day. Your family, your responsibilities, being healthy, being in shape, having equipment, having food, having ways to get clean water, all these things. So I was reading a comment. I did want to talk about something here that was kind of crazy. Did you guys hear about this? The friendly fire. U.S. Army is suspending all live fire weapons exercises for the Army Special Forces units after a soldier was accidentally shot during a force-on-force training exercise. This incident occurred at Lewis McChord Base, and it involved a U.S. soldier from 7th Infantry Division and was actually accidentally shot by a 1st Special Forces Group soldier using M249 machine gun. Now, this happened after live ammunition was mistakenly used instead of blanks. And an investigation revealed that the live rounds were inadvertently mixed with blank ammunition. This injured soldier is currently in stable condition. I find it baffling that you would mix up blanks. And you got it, Andrew. Blue Falcon. I don't know how in the world you can mix up blanks with live ammo, dude. I can't see that happening on a belt fed. I can't even fathom that. Maybe some of you ammo guys can tell me differently, but I cannot see that happening at all. It doesn't make sense. You know, when I was in, man, they were cutting parachutes of recon guys and stuff. You know, they'd pop out the plane, man, chute's been cut. You know, I mean, this sounds like some type of sabotage, in my opinion. I could be wrong, but that kind of stuff happens all the time, man. Especially, you never know with today's forces what kind of soldiers, military personnel we have. And there's some sadistic people in this world right now, dude. Just take a look on social media and you'll see it. It's there. But it's crazy. Again, guys, I think that somebody said suspending training flights because of fuel shortages. So yeah, I've heard that too. They're cutting out training flights. Is this the time that we should be cutting out when we're talking about going to war in a global capacity, that we should be shutting down training? Is that really what we should be doing right now? It doesn't. Prepare on what you can, man. Get your house in order. Get in shape, physically fit, food, water, self-defense, guys. What you can control. And other stuff, you know, I've talked about this in the past about how can we challenge these things and stuff like that. So it has to start small in your small communities, because that's what George Soros did. I said that 4 years ago. I was saying you got to attack in your local community, get elected, get in these positions, get in positions of power. That way you can make change and effect. Honestly, though, I think it's almost too freaking late, to be honest with you. It's almost too late. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's not. Private Baldwin sabotage training. No doubt. Someone said we've been set up to lose. Big Tech's absolutely, man. That's the way it looks, doesn't it? Wendy Gardner, thank you for the super sticker there. Appreciate you. Anyway, guys, I do appreciate you. Why do I keep looking left? No reason. I've got all kinds of stuff set up here. You can't see it, but it's multiple cameras, lights, and stuff. That's probably why I'm looking at my gear. Anyway, guys, I do appreciate you hanging out with me, and make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, share. We're still getting shadow banned like crazy. Every video is being demonetized as usual. So anyway, you can support us. Make sure you go hit up our store, blackscoutsurvival.com. We got all the gear you could want. We got a lot of new stuff coming as well. So make sure you keep an eye on it. This is what I always do. I always tell my late night live guys whenever we get new stuff, and I always kind of inject some stuff during the week just to see who's checking out the website. Maybe you get lucky and get something that you've been wanting. Anyhow, guys, remember to stay frosty, stay strapped, and always stay dangerous. Take care.